So if you talk about Web-NS3, there is a very good feature that is already integrated with Web-NS3, which is Jupyter Lab. It makes our job easy as it provides us the ability to make custom graph with which we can have our own conclusion out of the test that we have, out of the test data that we have gathered from the NS3 by running the NS3 script from the Web-NS3, or if you see, it's directly running behind the NS3, behind the servers over the internet. So in this video we are going to talk about how we can use Jupyter Lab, very basic stuff that we can have with Web-NS3 itself. We are not required to go actually anywhere, and in addition to that we will have a brief, or you can say a basic overview of Web-NS3 itself in this video. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you are new to this video, and let's get started without wasting much time. So first of all we'll talk about Jupyter Lab, and then we'll move to the basic overview of Web-NS3. As we have already prepared our whole playlist on Web-NS3, be sure to check that out. I'll have a link in the I button over here, or you can check that video link in the description box, or you can just go to my channel, and under the playlist you can find a playlist on Web-NS3. Just go and check it out because that covers all the broader aspects of Web-NS3. So now in this video we'll talk about Jupyter Lab. So if you see from the Web-NS3, we have certain tabs over here, and one of the tabs from that tab is Jupyter Lab. So if you are familiar with the Jupyter Lab, so Jupyter Lab is very useful stuff because it provides you the ability to run Python code from your web terminal. So it acts as an IDE on the web actually, if you consider it as an IDE, but it has certain other features also. And how it works is by you can just as how you create your folders on your file system on your machine, the same way you can create folders. So let's say I have example folders, and basically this folder will be there by default on your Web-NS3 if you just log in and go to this tab, which is Jupyter Lab. So it will have 3 files, which is intro, Lawrence, and SQLite. So basically all these files will have an introduction kind of things for you to explore. So you can just go through these scripts because it has a basic overview of how Jupyter works and how to use that. So I'm not going to go through all of this file. You can just go through by yourself because those scripts are very easy to understand. Okay, now you can create your folder inside this by just clicking on this function. It will have let's say rename my folder. So this is very similar to create the way we create a folder on our system. Now you can just load the test and the data that you have gathered by running the script of your NS3 on the Web-NS3, so that you can just bring it over here. So let's say if you remember, we had a video where we had the 6.cc file running on the Web-NS3, which was gathering the data of congestion window drop or the changes, where it was simulating for all the TCP variants that are available for the Web-NS3. Yeah, so if you have not watched that video and you're curious about TCP algorithms, so you can just check that out. Otherwise we can just proceed with that, and I'll make sure to have that video as an I button link over here, and also I'll make sure to ping that video in the description box. By the way, so through that test we had this file generated, which is test.txt. So this file includes all the data that we have gathered from by running that test. Basically what time the congestion window changed, for what was the client data rate, and what was the algorithm that we were running. So these are the data. Now we can just directly load all those data using the script that we have over here. Now the way this Jupyter will help us is that we can write the Python library code. So if you see, we have imported pandas, matplotlib, and other libraries that are helpful for us to generate the codes. And now this is very simple code if you know a little bit of Python. So you can basically read that file and you can create a graph using this matplotlib and pandas. So using pandas you can basically read the files, and using matplotlib you can basically plot the graphs. So this is the typical graph that we have seen over here also. So if you open the dashboard, we have a simulation created, which is a great TCP simulation. We can just go to results, and here if you see we have combined file, which is now if we just group by algorithm, if we just create show graph, so this is the same graph that we have it over here by writing this much line of code. Now the beauty of Jupyter is, let's say there are certain other aspects of the data that you want to get insights of. So let's say what is the growth pattern, where we can compare old congestion window and new congestion window algorithm, or the changes. Then what is the how we can compare all the algorithms. So let's say we are listing this as a continuous curve, but actually if you see congestion window is if you see the congestion window is like a step, it should be like a step graph of values, because for some amount of time the congestion window might be same. So let's say we have this step graph like that, which actually list all the points in step plot. So what step plot means is, so for this much amount of time the congestion window was same. So actually that is what happening inside the background, but as we are plotting this straight curves, we don't observe this step over here, but in reality this is the way how congestion windows will be changed, so that we can have a small piece of code written over here, and that we can just execute in the terminal over here in the web itself, and we can have this pretty graph visible over here. Yeah, so that is one of the insight that we can have. Then we can also have this kind of graph which is plotted against old congestion window and new congestion window changes, which basically helps us to observe the growth pattern. Then this is the graph of combined graph of old congestion window and new congestion window over the time, which actually helps us to see how the growth pattern, or what is the visualize the congestion window changes of both the parameters. Then we can have a distribution of new congestion window by the algorithm, which helps us to have an idea about what is the rate and changes of congestion window that we observe, and what is the distribution of congestion window that we have for all the algorithms. So yeah, these are the different kind of graphs that we can make by just writing this much piece of code, right? So these are the way of for you to use this Jupyter Lab. So yeah, I hope you have got the idea about how you can use this Jupyter Lab to make different kind of graphs. Basically it's just easy if you know a little bit of Python and some amount of basic stuff of how you can use the Jupyter. And yeah, that's it for the current video part. Now when it comes to the playlist, so I can just show you what we have seen, what we have covered till now for the Web-NS3. So if you just search for Web-NS3 mystery, you will have this videos, or you can just click on this channel and yeah, subscribe to my channel if you are new to this video, because we have awesome playlist on all the networking topics, considering the case that we have all the videos on NS3. So yeah, you can just consider subscribing. So first video we had made on the basic introduction of Web-NS3, where we had explored about how we can run this script using this dashboard. So we had an overview about dashboard. Then we had an overview about parameter sweep. So if you just go to any of the file, or when you upload the file, you have two menus. So one is this, which is parameter sweep, and the second one is show file configuration. So first, over here if you see, this is parameter sweep configuration. So we had an overview regarding this on this video. Then we had this changes which included later when we made the second video, and I made a request to have a an enhancement. So if I just go to edit, sorry, not edit, if I'll just go to the output or the results, we have this combined folder. So this was added after I made the second video on my channel and suggested some of the enhancement. Then we had this video on showcasing how we can use this catalog and customization tab, so that you explore that will be helpful for you if you have. So yeah, this is helpful for you if you want to create your custom source file, custom imports, or custom files if you want to run inside your NS3, or if you want to custom build your NS3, then it is very helpful to explore this catalog and customization tabs, so that we had covered in this video. And the last video that we had covered was on so if you go to edit section of any of the file, any of the simulation, so we have this file configuration section. So basically we explored that how we can upload multiple source file, and we can include this inside the simple single base scripts. So that we had covered, and in this video we had covered about Jupyter Lab. So yeah, I hope you have got the idea about Web-NS3, and probably this will be the last video. And yeah, one more change is, if you go to subscription section, you will have an option to buy a subscription plan, and now they have added this little thing where now you can select the number of months and you can renew the Pro. And there are certain benefits of Pro listed over here, and consider actually taking a Pro, because yeah, it's very useful. Again, this is not a promotion video and not any kind of paid promotion also. So yeah, this is very neutral opinion of mine, so you can act upon your own will. And that's pretty much it about Web-NS3. And that this video will be mostly going to be last video on Web-NS3. Consider subscribing to our channel if you are new to this video, and we'll be making more videos such like this, where we explore NS3 and where we understand the protocols and networking stuff. So yeah, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep exploring.